What's going on, H-Town? Rockets fans, no matter where you are, be safe out there on the roads here. Rainy, well, wet day in Houston, Texas. Maybe a rainy week and a half, whatever. But still another beautiful day, another beautiful win by the Houston Rockets. My name is David Delano. This is Rockets Daily, brought to you by Fan Arch. And man, I really can't let you guys know seriously how much I appreciate you guys here, everyone who's tuned in, everyone who's made a comment. Man, really appreciate it, man. Keeps your boy going, a lot going on, and just seeing the comments, the engagement, definitely gets us to keep on rolling, man. And we only grow with you guys, man. You guys are more important to this than I am. So really appreciate that. We're gonna dive into the Rockets win over the Kings. I'm gonna talk about I'm gonna let you guys in a little secret. Um, I was getting to a point at one point. I mean, I like basketball obviously a lot, but I was starting to lose a little bit of my passion for the NBA. I really was. Rockets are doing something that I feel like is really making the NBA watchable again. And I'll tell you guys what that is. And I know this is Rockets Daily, but we always talk about names and possible additions to the Rockets. We talked about a lot of guard options in the off season. We talked about Zach LaVine, obviously. This is episode number 121, by the way. Not that we necessarily thought Zach LaVine would be here, but in the previous 120 episodes, Zach LaVine's name did come up. He did come up in a few comments as well, and got to see him at the Toyota Center yesterday. And just Zach LaVine's a very intriguing player to me. I'll get into that along with some of your guys' comments. Go and subscribe. We're not at 1,000 yet, not there yet, but we're getting closer each and every day with you guys. So you can help out a lot if you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed. And even if you have, keep on. Hey, thanks for coming back again. Let's go ahead and get into this win over the Sacramento Kings yesterday, 121-95. Now, this game, however, was interesting for so many different reasons, right? On the surface, and if you didn't watch it or really didn't dive into the box score or listen to anything about it, 26-point win by the Houston Rockets against, one of the worst teams in the NBA, the Sacramento Kings, 5-17. Rockets were 15.5-point favorite. So, the blowout was widely expected. But this game was really, a lot of things really jumped out here. First of all, not that it never happens, but one thing that's a little different from your average 26-point blowout is the Rockets were down at halftime. They weren't down big, but they trailed 52-51 at the half. And starting out the third quarter, the Sacramento Kings got off to a hot start. He had a steal by Russell Westbrook, put the Kings up by 4. The Kings had a about 63-57 lead with a little under 8 minutes left to go in that third quarter. And that's when the Rockets ended that quarter on about, a 30-8 run to really just bust the game wide open. And then if there was any chance that the Kings would get back into it with the fourth quarter, I mean, Rockets really did blow the game open in the third quarter, but in the fourth quarter, Rockets were still dominant and really made it ugly. And got that 26-point win. Few things that jump out about this game. Shout out to Aberrant Shangoon for reaching 5,000 points. Strong game for him, 28 points in 30 minutes, along with 10 rebounds for Shangoon. Kevin Durant, 24 points. Amin Thompson, 20 points. Reed Shepherd, we talked about it. He was popular. Obviously, Reed Shepherd's been popular throughout since we started this show. Always just an interesting topic for so many reasons. We're always talking about Reed, but it was questions as far as if he was going to be in the starting lineup for good. It didn't start. Did not start yesterday. Didn't really matter too much though. He still played 28 minutes. Mukogi started instead of Reed Shepard. He played 27 minutes. Reed Shepard, you know, on the surface, shooting wise, he didn't have to do a whole lot. 2 for 7 shooting. The 5 points isn't really going to just jump out at you, but one turnover, one assist, but 6 rebounds for Reed Shepard, along with a couple blocks and a steal. And plus 22 when Reed Shepard was on the floor. So Kogi was plus 23. Jabari Smith Jr. Team was plus 24 with him on the floor. Everybody on the bench. So Reed Shepard had the highest plus minus, and Steven Adams was back in action. Very, very efficient once again. And Steven Adams came in the game late third quarter. Rockets were just starting that run. And with Steven Adams out there, the things really, really got ugly for the Kings. Steven Adams 5 for 6 from the floor, 11 points with 8 rebounds. And something big though about this game that you don't see a lot in 2025. I would really want to dig in deeper with some of the. I need a stats department, man. I doing all the stats and stuff myself. I really want to know when's the last time we've seen a team win by 26 points in the NBA and only make 5 threes. Only make 5 threes. And when I talk about the NBA started to become unwatchable to me for a while. And a lot of the things that really have made the NBA unwatchable for me, I can't say that the Houston Rockets have not been a little bit to blame for that. What I'm getting at here is NBA basketball, really at the highest level, has been so simplified to the point of a lot of these games just becoming 3-point contests, and the team we see so often where it's the team who makes the most threes wins the game. The mid range for a while there, it's back, but the mid range for a while there left the game for so long, and teams, especially the Rockets, became robotic. And you get it on the surface, right? You understand on the surface, right? Three's worth more than two. I get it, but you don't want to be robotic out there. I understand that 34 threes is going to get you more points than 52s. But when everyone knows that you're abandoning the mid range, you're a little bit easier to defend. And we saw that. And you look at the Rockets just through Rockets history. Where did they rank in the NBA? Not in 3-point percentage, but 3-point attempts. 2013, 2014 season. I'm just going to say the last year of it instead of saying 2013, 2014 or 2014, 2015. For 2013, 2014, I'm just going to say 2014. I'll get through this faster. 2014 Rockets, number 1 in attempts. 2015, number 1 in attempts. 2014, number 1 in attempts. 2015, number 1 in attempts. 2016, number 2 in attempts. 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, number 1 in 3-point attempts. 2021, 3rd in attempts. 2022, 4th in attempts. And we had some bad Rockets years around, but now this year 30th in 3-point attempts, 30th in 3-point attempts, but 3rd in 3-point percentage. And you're looking at the years, let's say like 2014, every year where the years where the Rockets were ranking number 1 in attempts, 16th in 3-point percentage, 14th year we were second, 19th, then 15th, 14th, 12th. 2019-2020 season, Rockets number 1 in 3-point attempts, 24th in 3-point percentage. Now we're shooting a lot fewer and making them at a much, much higher clip. This is the fewest threes that the Rockets 30th in 3-point percentage. You go through all Rockets history. Rockets have always been a little bit of trailblazers here. I don't want to say trailblazers. You understand what I'm saying. as far as when it comes to 3-point shooting, even, the championship years, I mean, 93, 94, Rockets number one. 94, 95, Rockets number one. Then number two, the number two. The number one, number three, number two. Those are the years really really you could go from the 90-91 season when it started to 2001, 2002. I mean, Rockets were top six each year. You go from 90-91 to 99 to 2000, Rockets were top three every single year in 3-point attempts. But never been this low in 3-point attempts. 2022, 2023 were 22nd, but we're 30th in 3-point percentage. Didn't need to be shooting threes. Now we're third. And what is this whole long tangent about 3-pointers getting at? Only attempted 4 threes in the second half. Outscored the Sacramento Kings by 27 points in the second half with only 4 3-point attempts. Only 16 3-point attempts for the entire game for the Rockets. 5 for 16 and got it done. And I absolutely love that. In 2025, we blew out a team. Only made 5 threes for the entire game. Definitely a thing of beauty. 20 for 24 from the line for the Rockets. 5 for 10 for the Kings. Rockets dominant on the board. 62 rebounds to 32. Out rebounded the Kings by 30. So I love that fact. To me, it's making it watchable again. Rockets taking the middies, taking good threes, not just chucking threes up, man. I'm gonna say the Boston Celtics team last year because I haven't really watched much Boston Celtics basketball at this point this season. But last year, the way the Celtics were coming down and just chucking up threes, my goodness, I just couldn't stand it. I was watching I think it was last season, where just a game that comes to mind, Minnesota Timberwolves and Celtics, just terrible to watch. And Anthony Edwards is dominant as great as he is. We should say great yet, but you say as great as he is. He does. It shows me, why Michael Jordan said he didn't want to fall in love with the threes too much because he's a great player, man. I can't tell him how to play his game, but still falls in love with those threes a little too much. Who doesn't fall in love with these threes too much? The Houston Rockets, and I think despite the opponent going 5 for 16 from three, only attempting 4 in the second half, and really just getting out there and being like, look, all right, we're down 6 to a bad team. We're going to take it to them. We're not selling for threes. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to push the ball. We're going to get good shots. We're going to attack the basket. We're going to destroy them on the boards. Yeah, gotta love it. Gotta love it. And one other thing, obviously, if you're a Sacramento Kings fan, welcome to the program. If you're the one Kings fan watching, or more than, there's a couple watching. Hey, welcome to the program, man. Subscribe, go ahead and comment. Maybe you guys can help me out with this, man. Zach LaVine, and I saw Jeff Teague's podcast about a month ago. He was talking about Zach LaVine being one of the, he said like one of the unluckiest great players ever, or I mean, great can be used loosely, but Zach LaVine's always a guy I've he's always been interesting to watch. Seems like a likable dude. Seems to care about the team and try to go about the game the right way, at least from the surface. I haven't watched him every single day, but man, Minnesota Timberwolves and then going to the Chicago Bulls, why they can't put it together. Zach LaVine had been balling, even though the Kings had been losing, and comes in yesterday 1 for 5 with 2 points in 19 minutes. DeMar DeRozan 12 points, Russell Westbrook 12 points, and it kind of shows, man, with the Kings. And hats off to the Rockets for defense, but talk about why is this Kings team so bad? Why is this Kings team so bad? They got bench production. When you look at their starters, I mean, Sabonis is hurt, and you look on paper, it's like, all right, Keegan Murray, Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine. Not a championship team. I understand that. Not in 2025, 2026. But to be 5-17 and 2-10 on the road, I'm glad they should be better than that. But you get 2 points from Levine, you get 5 points from Murray, 5 points in 37 minutes from Murray. Russell Westbrook 12 points, DeRozan 12 points. Hey, it's an ugly thing, man. And if you're a Kings fan or even a Rockets fan that really watches, like, what's up with Zach Levine, man? And when I say that, and sometimes really can take Kevin Durant, for granted, and can take Şengün for granted. Because you look at some of Zach Levine's last few games. I mean, they did win, against the Timberwolves on the 24th, but 7 points and 13 points, 34 points, 19 points, and then 2 points against the Rockets, and 2 points, one assist, one rebound. Kevin Durant, Şengün, they haven't had games like that. Even games where it's. Well, you truly look at the All NBA players, the franchise changers, the Hall of Famers, just really the big difference makers. I mean, you can't have that level of inconsistency, especially when you're not a shutdown defensive stopper. You're not getting rebounds, not doing other things to help your teams win. So, Zach Levine, a really intriguing player for me. And, when you look at that, the salary that he makes, I'll need to look up how long that contract when it ends. I'll look it up later. Gonna maybe be a hard piece to really move to get a lot of value back for if you're the Sacramento Kings. Obviously, if you ever had an opportunity to play for somebody like the Rockets, you wonder if that would be if we would see Zach Levine elevate, but I don't see that fitting in cap wise. His game really don't need him, respectfully. But you just any thoughts on Zach Levine? Just a really intriguing player there for me. And yesterday we talked about Chris Paul. A little bit of mixed reviews here with the Clippers cutting Chris Paul. There's a lot of different things. I saw on Gil's Arena, he mentioned Gilbert Arenas and obviously, strong NBA career, for a little while there. Really exciting player. Gil probably had about a 4-year run there, up there with some of the top guards. Of this, I say over the last, 20 years or so. But he made a comment with Chris Paul as far as saying, you're 40 years old. If you can't do it anymore, what are you commenting on? And it's like, well, I don't personally agree with that, because then that would only mean that the person that can do the most at the time is the only person that should be saying anything, right? After, Jokic, Giannis, Luka, Durant, Shank. I mean, you're saying that no one would be able to tell them anything. I mean, Ime Udoka played in the NBA, had a strong NBA career. He can't do the things that his players are doing now. Doesn't mean that we don't need him, and he's not a great leader. So I just want to throw that out there. I think with that logic, it's like, well, how could really anybody coach? I think a lot of times the guys who weren't the best players look at things a little bit differently. Um, you know, some guys, I mean, they got the talent, they got the mind for the game, they got the leadership. Some guys got the talent. Some guys, you understand what I'm saying. The ones who can really put it all together, are the ones that you see, end up being the all-time great. So I don't really have a problem with it. I mean, obviously, I'm on the outside. I'm not in that locker room, not locked in with the Clippers. But hearing a Chris Paul's criticized, I mean, they're 5-17, man. He doesn't want to go out like that. I don't really have a problem with that. I just think that right now, we looked at the game yesterday. I'm not sure Chris Paul really, really fits. I guess if you could get him for nothing, and you're looking at maybe, I'm not sure. Like if the Rockets moved away from, I know those are two-way contracts. Who would need to go? But if you didn't have Isaiah Crawford anymore, would you want Chris Paul on this team? I can't necessarily say I'm against that, but a lot of people saying he's washed. As far as from a basketball perspective, when you look at the playoffs, I mean, how much was you really, really going to use Chris Paul? Is Chris Paul going to be the difference maker to if the Rockets won or didn't win a championship? No. Um, I know with Fred VanVleet's leadership already, a lot of people don't seem to want him, but I'm a little bit up in the air. For the right price, could be willing to take a flyer on Chris Paul, but it's not something I think that the Rockets should go out of their way to do. But it just kind of falls to the Rockets. I definitely would think it's worth having a conversation and kicking the tires on Chris Paul there. Thanks so much again for watching another episode of Rockets Daily. Any comments that you have on the win over the Kings? Are you enjoying the Rockets being actually seeing a team make threes and be selective, not just chucking threes up, man? Actually playing basketball. Actually playing basketball and not just doing a 3-point contest. I love the slot selection from the Rockets. Thanks again. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm David Delano. You can also follow me on X at Get Sports Strong, and I will see you guys on the next one.